Hi, Claire Mann here, and I'm delighted to be joining you in April 2025 for VCOP this year. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm the author of Dystopia, The Anguish of Being Vegan in a Non-Vegan World. And my job is to help vegans transmute the power of dystopia into positive action for change so that you eagerly anticipate every conversation about veganism because you're calm, confident, happy, and influential. And you engender the response in those conversations of, well, that's interesting. Tell me more. Now, who doesn't want that? We all want that, of course. And we all want to be part of something much bigger to make a real change in the world for collective veganism and make a real change in the world so we collectively create a kinder vegan world. Now, people have different definitions, of course, of doing big things. For Celeste, of course, it's how do we create, and we will create, a vegan world in its absolute entirety for all living beings and the earth on which we live. And then for others, it may be setting up a sanctuary and you want to save animals and educate other people so that they will learn that their choices have consequences. You may want to influence your family to become vegan, or your big challenge and your big desire, as so many vegans I talk to, is to be confident in every conversation so that you stand your ground, you have conviction, and you're able to say exactly what needs to be said, and you don't come away disappointed. Now, so we have these different challenges, we have these different desires, but what stands in the way? What do we need to do to really take these steps that are effective in getting the big outcomes? So let me ask you, have you ever noticed when you've got a problem, you're always there? Now, people smile when they hear that, but within every problem is the kernel of its solution. We are the ones that when we change ourselves and do certain things on the inside to align ourselves with the vision of what we want to create, we are going to be more impactful. Because it's things like mindset, unconscious drivers that stand in the way. We can consciously want to do things, but unless we have routines and practices in place to pass trauma through our body and then match it with exquisite communication skills, we will constantly sabotage ourselves. We all know people, maybe we're those people ourselves, where, say, we're looking for a personal partner and we attract people that aren't reliable. And it keeps happening, or it has happened. And you say, well, I got a sign across my head. This started off well and now it's a problem. Or we join a vegan group and we had infighting in the past. So we lay it on the line that we're not going to do it this time. And then suddenly it happens again. So what is it that this happens? Now, Sigmund Freud said something interesting. He said, we keep attracting a similar situation to get a different outcome. And what he meant by that is we're actually self-healing creatures. Things happen to us, often unpleasant experiences, and we push them down. And then we also spend our lives, of course, this sort of reality keeps coming back into our life. And we say, gosh, it's just bad luck. We put it down to chance until we see our part in it. But we do want to heal ourselves, and we really need to become detectives of ourselves. What are the patterns and dynamics that keep happening, the type of people around ourselves? And whilst we're not going to psychotherapy here, we really do need to start to look at ourselves. When we understand ourselves more, we can become a student of the human condition. Put the routines and practices in place, and then, only then, can we engage with people very differently. Because all change happens really in relationship-based advocacy, how we make people feel. And if we're resentful of people, we have those unconscious drivers that say people are selfish, they'll never change. And yet we're wanting this big change. It doesn't matter if we've got a smile on our face. They will not be influenced by that. The outer is truly a reflection of the inner. Neuroscience says something interesting. It says, when we have a shock, say we see a video, we hear information, what's happening in the environment, the actual effect, chemically, hormonally, neurologically, lasts for about a minute. It's what we do with that information afterwards. It's the stories, the meanings we attach to it. We say, oh, here we go again. Can you believe what the government has just done or something? Okay, so we need to find ways to pass that through our body repeatedly, not distract ourselves, not to depress it, but to actually pass it through our body. Remain centered, remain focused, because around us, we've been conditioned in society There are a lot of distractions on media and social media. We're having our energy sucked, and we really need to change that because we will never be able to achieve the things we need to do and the responsibility we have to ourselves, others, and the animals and the earth on which we live if we are not on top of our game. So in the talk I'm going to give you, I am going to tell you more about some of the practices you can put through your body. I'm going to give you a good dose of neuroscience to explain why the outer is the inner. And then I'm going to match it with some exquisite communication skills so that you can start to have the conversations that matter. Because when we engage with people in a different way, they do lean forward because they feel differently. There's a disconnect gets created between how they see themselves and what they believe and their actions. If we stay disengaged and really don't relate to people well, with ourselves really grounded and with strong sort of resources from the inside, it really is like table tennis. And we're giving them information and we're trying to shift them along to change their thinking. So in my talk, I'm going to build on what I've just mentioned today, really, and look at routines and practices we can do to pass things through our bodies, to have ourselves resourced every day, and then match it with some key communication tools. Now, I want you to imagine what it would feel like if you felt calm, confident, happy, and resourced. Everything that came across your path, you knew what to say, when to say it, and the way you needed to say it. This is all about making big things happen. And the people we admire and actually keep going and seem to have a, positivity about them, this does make them feel warm and fuzzy. They have learned that actually we are the instruments of change and we are the ones that need to do the work on the inside. So I look forward to seeing you. We'll build on this. Here's the 2025 being our best vegan year yet.